Let me ask you a question. What would your life look like if you simply started thinking bigger and moving faster? Not someday, not next year, but today. See, life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change starts with your thinking. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. Most people live far beneath their potential, not because they're not capable, but because they've never been challenged to think bigger, and they've never been taught how to move faster. Success doesn't require genius. It requires vision and urgency. You must stretch your imagination and then take action before hesitation talks you out of it. So today, let's challenge your vision. Let's challenge your pace. Let's go after something greater with intention. You can't live a big life with small thoughts. Let me say that again. You can't live a big life with small thoughts. And yet, most people are stuck in small thinking. They think in survival, not expansion. In problems, not possibilities. In caution, not conviction. Now here's what I've learned. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high. But most people don't want that. They don't want pressure. They don't want to be stretched. So they shrink their dreams to fit their comfort zone. But here's the problem with that. If you shrink your vision to match your fear, you'll never rise beyond average. And let me tell you something. Average is not the goal. You might be thinking, Jim, I don't think small. Let me show you how it sneaks in. You set safe goals you know you can hit. You say, maybe next year. You hang around people who never challenge your ideas. You talk yourself out of bold action because it feels risky. You settle for good enough. Let me remind you, you are capable of more. But the question is, do you believe it? Everything begins with belief. Belief turns the lights on. It sets the direction. If you can't see yourself doing more, you won't attempt more. And if you don't attempt more, you'll never achieve more. That's the cycle. And it starts with the mind. You do what you do because you think the way you think. And unless you change the way you think, you'll keep doing what you've always done. And let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with routines until they become ruts, until they become comfort zones, until they become cages. The problem is most people don't know they're trapped because the trap feels familiar. They think this is just how life is. This is how far people like me can go. This is all I can expect. That's not thinking. That's programming. So how do you think bigger? Here's where the shift begins. 1, start asking bigger questions. Don't ask, what's the easiest way? Ask, what's the best way? Don't ask, can I do this? Ask, how can I do this 10x bigger? 2, expose yourself to bigger environments. Get in the room with people who intimidate you in a good way. Read biographies of people who thought boldly. Watch how high performers speak, think, move. 3, stretch your vision. Write down your goals not for next week, but the next 10 years. Think about your legacy, not just your to-do list. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I didn't hold back? Because once you think bigger, your world has to expand. It can't stay the same. Your behavior will begin to rise to match your thinking. Set a goal to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. That's what thinking bigger does. It pulls you forward. It demands more from you. And in that demand, you grow. But thinking bigger isn't enough. You must move faster. And let me tell you something else. Don't wait too long. The clock is ticking. Your vision has an expiration date. Your dreams need action. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. Small thinking leads to small action, and small action leads to small results. That's not your destiny. So today, stretch your vision. Ask bigger questions. Set goals that scare you. And be honest with yourself. Have you been thinking too small? Because when you change your thinking, you change your world. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Now let that settle. Because here's the truth. A lot of people dream big. They talk big. They plan big, but they move slow. They hesitate. They delay. They wait for things to feel right. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. Let me tell you something important. Success rewards speed. Not chaos, not rush, but decisive action. Clear action. Consistent action. I've seen it over and over. Talented people. Big thinkers. Sharp minds. But they overthink. They underact. They wait for perfection. They wait for motivation. They wait for permission. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. You see, it's not always failure that robs your future. It's hesitation. You had the idea. You had the chance. You had the window, but you didn't move. You talked yourself out of it. You delayed until it disappeared. Let me be direct with you. Delay is expensive. Someday is a myth. Someday is how average people justify wasting today. Someday I'll start the business. Someday I'll write the book. Someday I'll get serious. Someday I'll invest in myself. But here's the hard truth. If you don't start now, you probably never will. Because the longer you wait, the more comfortable you get with waiting. And once waiting becomes your habit, progress becomes a stranger. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about panic. I'm not talking about rushing blindly. I'm talking about intentional urgency, a fire in your spirit, a commitment to take action now, not when it's easy, not when it's perfect, but when it's necessary. And let me tell you, it's always necessary. Because once you move, even a little, momentum begins. And momentum, that's where success lives. It's hard to steer a parked car. But once it's rolling, you can direct it anywhere you want. You might be thinking, Jim, I know I need to move faster, but how? Here are 5 ways to build that internal urgency. 1, give yourself short deadlines. Don't give yourself a month to do what could be done in a week. Short timelines force focus. They eliminate excuses. 2, measure daily progress. If you're not measuring, you're guessing. Track actions, not just intentions. 3, create consequences for delay. Success isn't just about reward. It's also about accountability. Tell someone. Make it public. Set a deadline. Put something on the line. 4, eliminate decision fatigue. You don't need 50 options. You need 1 decision and action. Too much thinking leads to no doing. 5, start before you're ready. This is big. You'll never feel fully ready. Start anyway. You can adjust on the journey. Don't wait for all the lights to turn green before you leave home. They won't. Move now. Correct later. You see, failure teaches. Failure sharpens. Failure builds you. But waiting weakens you. It makes your dreams quieter, your courage smaller, your fire colder. The longer you wait, the less you believe. And eventually you wake up one day and realize you didn't run out of time. You gave it away. Here's the secret high achievers know. When you move fast, you don't just get ahead. You learn faster. You get feedback sooner. You adjust better. You can't think your way into mastery. You have to act your way there. Take massive action. You can't hit a target you don't shoot at. Even if it's messy, move. Even if it's small, move. Because progress beats perfection every single time. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? The perfect moment? The right motivation? The green light from someone else? You don't need that. You need urgency. You need movement. You need to stop treating your dream like a hobby, because speed matters. If you think big but move slow, you'll miss it. But if you think big and move fast, you'll create momentum that makes the impossible feel inevitable. So here's your challenge today. Make the call. Write the page. Launch the idea. Send the message. Make the decision. Whatever it is, do it today. Don't major in minor things. Don't spend your life getting ready to live it. Start now. Move now. Act now. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Now, let's think about that for a moment. We've talked about thinking bigger. We've talked about moving faster. But there's something else that separates high achievers from the rest. It's not just speed. It's not just ambition. It's standards. You see, speed without standards is sloppy. Ambition without discipline is noise. But when you combine high speed with high standards, that's when success becomes inevitable. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of hustle. Move quick, push hard, get it done. But here's what I've learned. Success is not doing 100 things once. It's doing a few things 100 times with excellence. If you want to rise above the average, you can't just work harder. You must work better. You've got to build a reputation for excellence, a standard of quality that speaks for itself. Because let me tell you something. People remember quality. Clients remember quality. Success is built on quality. So while you're moving fast, don't let quality slip, because speed gets you noticed, but standards earn you trust. Let me ask you something personal. What are your standards? Do you settle for good enough? Do you stop when it's done right? Do you deliver what's expected or go beyond? Your standards define your results. And the truth is, most people don't fail because of talent. They fail because they tolerate average. Don't wish for better results. Raise your standards and the results will follow. You want to be successful? Then expect more from yourself. Expect better thinking, sharper effort, cleaner execution, greater preparation, because the market doesn't pay for effort. It pays for value, and value comes from standards. Now here's the interesting part. When you raise your standards, you don't get slower. You actually get faster. Why? Because when your standards are high, you waste less time fixing mistakes. You make quicker decisions. You avoid distractions. You execute with clarity and confidence. Most people think excellence takes more time, but it actually saves time in the long run. High standards build efficiency. Let me give you 5 ways to build high standards and high speed. 1. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself. Stop pretending. Face your gaps. Call out your own laziness, your own excuses, your own low effort. You cannot change what you will not confront. 2. Decide what excellent looks like. Define it clearly. What does excellence mean in your health? Your work? Your relationships? If it's not clear, it won't be consistent. 3. Audit your daily habits. Excellence is not a goal. It's a habit. What do you do every single day? That's your standard. 4. Upgrade your circle. Surround yourself with people who demand more from themselves. If your standards are higher than everyone around you, you're in the wrong room. 5. Deliver more than you promise. Always give a little more than expected. Finish stronger than you started. Be the person people count on for consistency and quality. The best revenge against mediocrity is excellence. Let's go back to the formula. Big thinking sets the vision. Fast movement builds momentum. But standards keep it sustainable. Speed without standards, you burn out. Standards without speed, you fall behind. But put them together. You become unstoppable. You move quick. You execute well. And you build trust in everything you touch. Success doesn't just show up at your door. You attract it through what you expect of yourself. Now let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about performance. It's about character. See, standards come from who you are, not just what you want. A person of integrity won't deliver sloppy work. A person of purpose won't cut corners. A person of vision won't tolerate average. So if you want to raise your standards, start by raising your identity. Ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming? And let your answer show up in your habits. You get what you tolerate. If you tolerate delay, you'll move slow. If you tolerate average, you'll become it. If you tolerate excuses, they'll define your future. But if you expect more and demand more and work for more, success can't help but respond. So think big, move fast, and raise the bar every single day. Don't lower your expectations to meet your performance. Raise your performance to meet your expectations. Let that become your way of life. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 5. Let's reflect on that for a moment. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification, quick wins, fast results. Everyone wants the reward without the process. Everyone wants the fruit, but few are willing to plant the tree and wait. But life doesn't work that way. Not the life of success, not the life of significance. Let me tell you what I've learned. The key to lasting achievement is this: think long, act now. Let me ask you something. Have you ever started something, a project, a goal, a new habit, and after just a week or two, you gave up? Not because it didn't matter, but because it didn't come fast enough? Welcome to the trap. We live in a microwave culture, but success is still cooked in a crock pot. You see, most people fail not because they're incapable, but because they can't stay committed long enough. They want the outcome, but they're not willing to pay the timeline. They chase what's quick and ignore what's right. They pursue what's urgent and forget what's important. And that's how long-term dreams slowly die in short-term decisions. The real builders, the real doers, the real leaders, they don't just think about today. They ask, what kind of life do I want to create 10 years from now? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? That kind of thinking, that's power. Because once you stretch your vision, you start making better decisions. You stop wasting time on petty things. You stop chasing approval. You stop sabotaging your future for the sake of temporary comfort. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And the people who think long-term, they start building today because they know time is precious. Not to waste, not to wish away, but to work with. So here's the shift. Urgency in your actions, long range in your vision. You see, urgency alone can lead to chaos, and long-term thinking alone can lead to procrastination. But when you bring them together, you create strategic urgency. You act now because you know where you're headed. You stay focused because the goal is worth it. You don't quit early because you're not building a weekend project. You're building a life. Let me repeat that. You are building a life. And lives of greatness aren't built in a day. They're built daily. We live in a world of distraction, scrolls, notifications, noise. And every day, your attention is being stolen from your future. You're being sold shortcuts. You're being tempted by what feels good now. And if you're not intentional, you'll trade your calling for comfort. That's why long-term thinking isn't optional anymore. It's essential. You've got to zoom out. You've got to see further. You've got to think legacy. Because if you don't define your future, distraction will. Let me give you something practical. Here are 5 simple practices that will sharpen your focus and extend your thinking. 1. Visualize the 10-year you. Write it down. Where do you live? How do you think? What does your day look like? Clarity fuels direction. 2. Work backwards from the vision. If that's where you want to be, what must happen this year? This month? Today? You don't climb the mountain by jumping. You do it one step at a time. 3. Audit daily distractions. Your phone, your television, your habits. If it's stealing your future, limit it. Guard your time like treasure because it is. 4. Tie today's action to tomorrow's outcome. Don't just work hard. Connect what you're doing today to the dream you're chasing tomorrow. This gives meaning to the mundane. 5. Surround yourself with builders, not drifters. You can't think long term when everyone around you is living for the weekend. Find people who challenge you to grow, to build, to lead. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now let me paint a picture. A farmer doesn't plant seeds on Monday and expect a harvest by Friday. He plants. He waters. He waits. He stays faithful. Not because the crop is visible, but because he believes in the process. And that's how you must treat your future. As a field, as a season, as something you're responsible for every day. Big things are built in secret, in silence, in small moments of obedience to a larger vision. So stay consistent, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, even when progress feels invisible, because growth is happening even in the unseen. Don't just chase success. Build it slowly and surely. Don't just grind harder. Grind with vision.